So, welcome to another episode of Cryptotalks Live, sponsored by, powered by Dxtalks. Today is some more amazing news, if you want to call them. Um, a lot of market uprising, different prices, and a lot of things has been going on. So, let's jump quickly into the roundup while Tay will directly take over. So the things how we've seen Bitcoin in the last week spreading over 30K, news about why, what happened, and how are things going on. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We are season 8 now, episode 179, or I think it is one, if I'm not mistaken. So here we go. We're reaching the 200 soon. I will let Tay jump on board as usual. Uh, don't forget to watch out for the crypto frauds that's happening in the space, from identity theft to spear phishing, to different techniques or changing the website with some identical names. I saw a website a few days ago. It was really amazing. It amazed me because it's the same. It's the same uh, website, but they have used uh, what do they call them? ASCII controls, so that it looks the same. Anyhow, they welcome on board. How was your week? And I'll hand this to you.
تحياتي لك رودي. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching us from. Week 26 is one of the important weeks of this year. First, we're signaling the end of June. With the end of June, we saw a rally in the Bitcoin prices. Last episode, we mentioned how important it is to watch the end of the month, because the level that Bitcoin will close on, this will give us the indication for the few months to come till end of the year on where the market is going, simply because the emotions of the traders, the sentiment of crypto traders will be reflected in this price. Week 26, Glassnode released their weekly report. As we always go over it in every Crypto Talks. In this week 26 Glassnode episode, it was worth to mention how the analysts, or the fundamental analysts as well, are looking into how much supply is there for sale in the Bitcoin market, for one main reason. The past week and this ongoing week, we can give it a title, and this title would be the Bitcoin ETF. So the Bitcoin ETF has been present heavily last week and this week in the news. It is one of the reasons that Bitcoin has reached $30,000 and maintained this level up to this moment that we are speaking. Bitcoin is 30,443, which was surprising, looking at all the political and the negative news and the regulatory news as well that was surrounding the cryptocurrency markets. Starting with our hand picked up news for this week, with Cointelegraph talking to many analysts, trying to attribute why did Bitcoin gain 21% in the last 11 days. Some of them have been attributing this rise into BlackRock spot Bitcoin exchange traded fund, or ETF, where BlackRock has filed or is filing, in the process of filing, their Bitcoin ETF. But as well, there has been other incidents, like 2 days ago, HSBC Bank in Hong Kong, they reported to introduce their first local cryptocurrency service using 3 listed crypto ETFs. There is ProShares Bitcoin Strategy ETF as well, experiencing a a relatively large weekly inflow in this year at $65 million. With the total assets, they're topping up $1 billion. And of course, on June 25, the Federal Reserve Governor Mr. Bowman said that financial institutions, they have been left in a supervisory void in terms of emerging technologies, including digital assets. So he's pushing regulators to build general but non-binding statements when it comes to business requirements or investment requirements that need to be made. So all those news came bullish for Bitcoin, came bullish for the cryptocurrency markets, and this is a remarkable week, I would say, because since FTX has collapsed and we missed this positive momentum in building up to the Bitcoin halving coming up next year. The second major news for us for this week came from Europe. The European Union on Tuesday, they secured a political deal on a new backed capital legislation, including crypto assets. So lawmakers, they are seeking to have prohibitive rules to keep unbacked crypto out of the traditional financial system. So this will introduce new changes on how banks will assess the risk of corporate homes, of home loans, and maybe even cryptocurrency services in the future. Now, this will take a few months to pass, but the purpose of those new rules is to adjust the risk for banking assets, such as the corporate loans. But at the same time, it's there to tackle capital requirements for Bitcoin and for cryptocurrencies if banks wish to issue a euro for those cryptocurrencies they hold. So this is an important, you know, I wouldn't say law yet because it's not in practice yet, but those crypto bank backed capitals, they will have to fulfill the new rule requirement. So the rule requirement might say, yeah, for every $1 hold in the bank or $1 hold in Bitcoin in euros, there should be digital euros backing up those digital assets. One-on-one could be even more, to over collateralize those digital assets so that they're able to protect consumers in case of fluctuations. Nothing is clear yet, but the correlation between increasing capital requirements and allowing banks to hold digital assets is important for one main reason. This means that banks will be able to offer digital asset services to its consumers, hence more regulation. Can we say vis-a-vis more consumer confidence? I believe so. And this is one of the reasons why the next bull run on crypto and specifically Bitcoin might be bigger than we expect, because of all those supervisory void that has existed in 10 years now is slowly being filled up. One of the correlations that we heavily speak about in the past 5 to 10 years was Bitcoin and the tech stock correlation. This correlation relationship has hit their lowest mark in those 3 years. So this might indicate a possible decoupling, according to a report from Kaiko Research. At the same time, they're saying that cryptocurrency and gold hit the highest correlation or highest relationship in several years the past week, with both assets rallying in 2023. I remember back in 2013 on the Bitcoin forums, there was always this discussion between Bitcoin followers who believe that there is an inverse correlation between gold and cryptocurrencies. There was as well an inverse correlation between the tech Nasdaq, the tech heavy Nasdaq, first, let's say, companies with Bitcoin. So in this correlation, when let's say Bitcoin price is going up, we're seeing the Nasdaq going down. When Nasdaq was going down, Bitcoin prices were going up, and the other way around. This correlation now, in the past 3 years, it has diminished to a level where it was no longer valid as a theory anymore. So this means traditional risk assets, they weakened this year, compared to 2022 by an average of 60%. But analysts are as well saying that the Nasdaq 100 has technically entered in a bull market, since it's more than more than 20 by 20% since December 2022. In this news as well for this week, crypto billionaires, they lost big when the SEC crackdown on Binance and Coinbase happened. According to crypto news, most of the crypto billionaires have been hit hard at Binance, at Coinbase. And they're referring, of course, to Binance CEO Changpeng Zhao, or known as CZ, and CEO of Coinbase Brian Armstrong. CZ, he saw his net worth shrink by $1.4 billion to $26 billion, while Coinbase CEO, his net worth dropped by only $36 million to $2.2 billion. Regardless of their respective companies, both CEOs, they amassed huge wealth, you know, compared to the companies they run. Specifically CZ, in the past weeks, his wealth staggered, like it went up in a staggering 117% before it declined this week. If we want to compare them to other billionaires on the index, especially on the Bloomberg Wealth Index, the other billionaires were up by 9%. The final news for this week, and of course related to the heavy speculation of, I think, month of June in general, was the Bitcoin ETF. And always the Bitcoin ETF is the source of controversial news and fake bull runs or fake bear markets that analysts try to build up and try to hype. This is not the first time that ETFs have been linked to the possibility of a bull market, and yet we all know that the healthy bull markets need to come from the influx of users. That's what happened in the past with 2020, COVID happening, government giving, between parentheses, free money, and this money going into crypto, gaining new users, amassing new wallets, exchanges, having net flows and inflows at all-time high. So when the block spoke to the CEO of Kraken subsidiary, the CF Benchmarks, and CF Benchmarks, they provide the index to be used by spot Bitcoin ETFs being proposed by the BlackRock. So most of the attention over the next few months will be on the US securities, especially in the SEC, where the regulator is yet to approve a spot Bitcoin fund. So yet to approve is very important because it has not been approved yet. So how, like, if we want to ask, how is this latest filing different from any other filing in the past? Well, um mainly it's in the type of application and the type of features that have been applied by a national stock exchange in the United States, and attempting to rule change uh, for accommodating a Bitcoin ETF is different, and this is why we are seeing it getting rejected time after time. Um, and at the same time, the SEC has stated that there is insufficient measures taken by the exchanges to ensure that there are mechanisms in place to detect manipulative trading, potential manipulations in shares of the ETF, and so on. So the listing exchange that needs to operate the ETF should have those things in place. Um, so, is there now changes that has been made by the Nasdaq to address those concerns? According to the interview provided by the block, that yes, there is something that the Nasdaq has proposed to put in place a full requirement to satisfy the SEC when it comes to protecting consumer funds, especially from market manipulation. And at the like at the most important question, which we call the $1 billion Bitcoin question, if a spot market was finally approved, how would this change on the broader Bitcoin market? um, what's gonna happen? So here is a the answer for this comes in two sides. First is understanding the size of the ETF market, which is huge. Um, like, if we want to look at the crypto sphere, whether we look at traditional financial instruments or self custody, like, you should have an active account in order to benefit from this ETF. So this is mainly targeted for uh, like registered investors, and with this you are able to, through your broker, perhaps you're able to get into those ETFs with sometimes a tax benefit as well. So it is not clear how many people are familiar with ETFs or how they want to invest with them. But there is a very important statistics that say 20% of investing Americans already own a cryptocurrency. So if you're going just to think of that, and those that have held an ETF before, and today they want to own crypto with an option to allocate it to a Bitcoin ETF, yeah, then we are going to see new numbers of users coming into crypto without holding crypto, or specifically Bitcoin in particular, but ending up in a Bitcoin ETF that mimics their saving account or their retirement account that they are familiar with. Um, like, how big the public money will be going into Bitcoin, it's a pretty big number. We can't really put a uh, like we can't put zeros on it, but this is one of the major bull triggers for the next market are the spot Bitcoin ETFs. With this, Rudy, we quickly come to an end for this week's episode, end of June. As I mentioned again, we're looking at Bitcoin $30,400. We are still at a very high dominance for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is dominating 48.5% of the total market so far. When the Bitcoin dominance is high, we see the alt coins or the alt markets relatively not making the sharp ups or downs in the price. They move sideways until Bitcoin dominance drops to the 40% level, and then we're gonna see the altcoin market warming up. As we always remind you, don't forget August 5, 2022 is the Litecoin halving day, one of the major events that we're looking at for one of the top 10 cryptocurrencies in this year to go into a major change in its financial and monetary policy induced by software and by code, not by Federal Reserve or European Central Bank. This is one of humanity's most important innovations when it comes to money, the new type of money that is circulated, that is stored, that is validated by computer and by code, and no longer by a black box or a group of people controlling a black box. With this, Rudy, we want to wish as well a happy Eid Adha Mubarak for everyone who has been celebrating this special day. And I want to wish a good start of the second half of the year for everyone. Don't forget to follow our work in the crypto space at it's Flus FLUUS. Always make sure that you're talking to the right person when you're interacting in crypto. Double check the handle, double check the name, double check the website, and do not fall into frauds or scams. Anyone who asks you to share your seed phrase or your password for an update on your wallet, please refrain from doing this. Never share your passwords, your seed phrases. Always back your non-custodial wallets. And one last thing as well, always check the Instagram, the Twitter, the Facebook links. As an example, Flus is written capital F, capital L, U for university, another U for university, and then S at the end. So what we see scammers trying to do is writing it in small letters, F capital IUUS, which is read as Flus as well. So please make sure to take notice of such stuff. At Flus, we're running a couple of experiments at the moment. We're looking for testers for some nice features that we are releasing. Please get in touch with me at Flus if you're willing to volunteer and to test some new learn and earn models that we are releasing in the market to help you understand cryptocurrencies, avoid scams, and enter into this space safely. And if there is questions, I'm here to answer them. Mirna is saying, isn't BlackRock market manipulating? We cannot, I mean, from my personal position and experience here, I cannot point or judge to anyone or a company accusing them in market manipulation. But I believe that BlackRock is a huge financial company that looked into the future, and they saw the importance of Bitcoin and crypto and blockchain in the financial world and in the non-financial world, but mainly in the financial application. The possibilities that Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are presenting are not found in the traditional financial system, and this is why they do not want to follow a Kodak experience, but they want to be the Microsofts and the iPhones and the Apples of the crypto space. So with their huge financial background, resources, network, and even data, I believe they are a good contender to enter this space and bring more liquidity, more investors, and eventually lift the total market cap of cryptocurrencies to match what the market cap of gold is, or silver, or even them combined. There was a question from Lama. USA is killing the local market. Let's hope Nasdaq plays a role. Indeed, in the past few months, we have seen a large number of cryptocurrencies leave the United States. We're talking on Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and a set of other cryptos that have left the United States into other foreign exchanges. Glassnode talked about this in detail in a report where they explain that most of the actions that happened from the SEC allowed BTC net flows to leave from Coinbase, Kraken, and Gemini and go into Binance, OKX, and Huobi. So this is when basically today Binance, Huobi, and OKX are seeing significant inflows into their exchanges, although the market conditions do not per se point to any bull market event happening or any liquidation event happening. It is more of the scrutiny and the position the regulator took in the United States is pushing crypto investors to move into other global and regulated exchanges. This is why in the Middle East we saw Rain have almost 100% increase in their deposits in the past month. We saw Binance, Huobi, and OKX as well have an increase in their net inflows in the past few months. Happy Eid as well for you, Lama. Again, happy Eid for all our viewers, wherever you are, wherever you're watching us from. It's the end of first half of the year, end of June. We are looking this Sunday closely on the next um, uh, closing for Bitcoin and for other cryptos. And in July, we are as well seeing we're going to hear the FOMC interest rates decision. From Europe, the EC, the European Central Bank, they hinted to a hike in the interest rates in the coming weeks. Um, and as well, today, MicroStrategy purchased a substantial amount of Bitcoin. Uh, the, with the numbers they are targeting as MicroStrategy, they're closing on getting 1% of the total supply. So I hope those bullish indicators will continue to lift prices up and reward holders, hodlers, and traders. With this, I want to wish you a lovely evening, morning, good afternoon, wherever you are, and see you next week.